a long live. But last night I had kind of I dreamt of heaven, and heaven had a come to Jesus moment with me, so to speak. And I felt like I should share it. Um, I just wanted to share it. So, of course, like I said yesterday, I've been watching these LA fires, and I'm not at all surprised that they're already publicly starting to entertain, hey, Saki, they're starting to entertain the idea of it being arson. Not at all. And for me, where I stand, I think that it's a huge attempt to get rid of evidence, and they don't give a shit who they hurt. And I've been watching, yeah, but the two people, what they're doing is if they follow those people, there's more involved, I would be willing to bet. And they're using meth heads. That's what they do. They employ meth heads. And so, hey, good morning, everyone. And so, how I, what I'm watching is that a bunch of innocent people are just losing everything. 80 and 90-year-old people. And I've been really disgruntled with it. And so last night I was irritated. I was thinking about that and then listening to all of their plans that they're getting to just round people up and put them in camps and all of that. And I have been praying for a miracle, praying for something to happen to intervene. And really upset because, to be quite honest, I understand how hard it is to keep hope. I fight that all the time and have been fighting it. And so I ended up falling asleep at like 5 o'clock last night. But before I did, I ended up putting Godspell in. Godspell is one of my favorite movies. I can watch that movie over and over and over. I absolutely love Godspell. If there's a favorite movie, V for Vendetta and Godspell. I'd say those are two of my top ones. But so I fell asleep and I was just beside myself. Didn't know what I had done. So last night I end up dreaming that our Father comes to me. And all of a sudden I'm standing. It's funny, hey Sherilyn, I'm standing in front. It's my YouTube algorithm is it's weird. I don't really, to be quite honest, I don't really understand algorithms. But I think it's because I watched a few things on the Simpsons predictions that came up. So there were a couple about Nostradamus and saying that how the Antichrist is going to rise up in 2025. And I never watched it because I always think that stuff is kind of stupid, just me. But in the dream, Father has his hand on my shoulder and it shows up in front of me and it's like I'm watching it as a movie. Like I'm involved with it. You know how dreams are. It was weird because it was a dream. We're talking about a dream. And while this is all happening, I get reminded faith is being sure of what you hope for and certain of what you do not see. And I kept being told that over while I was watching this dream. And you know how things come to you in dreams that, I mean, it's not like normal. You all of a sudden start having things that happen in the dreams. And I was reminded that they raised me to be the vessel for the Antichrist. And I got trained how to do a lot of cool shit by Michael Aquino at Offutt Air Force Base. None of this is new. I've talked about it from the very beginning. And I kept getting reminded. And what ended up happening in the dream is that being sure of what you hope for and certain of what you do not see. The next thing that occurred to me was, there's only one thing I've ever really hoped for. And I've wanted it since I was a kid. I wanted it since I was a kid. I want this group fucking claimed. I do. I want them claimed. Nobody's safe before that happens. They'll do whatever the fucking icky shit, whatever fucking nasty thing they think of, they're going to do. That's what they like to do. And so no one is safe without this group. And I have wanted this group claimed and then made to be held accountable for the shit since I was a kid. Since I was a kid. I will tell you, in my life, I look at things kind of in a black and white way. You either serve God and fill your heart with love, or you serve the dark. And if you serve the dark, I'm not your friend, And so all of this is starting to occur to me in my dream, and I'm being reminded of things that when I first got involved with this when I was a kid, when I first got involved with this when I was a kid, and I mean, I say I was a kid, I was in my 20s. And then especially when I went and started learning how to do shamanism when I was 27. Because the evil shit that they taught me how to do didn't just go away when I got older. It got stronger. And it was either learn how to control it or it was going to control me. That's what drove me into therapy. So I realized that my whole thing about all of this is that I want them claimed. Yes, I will tell you from what I saw in the dream, the Antichrist has definitely risen from what I've seen in the dream. The problem is that their Antichrist, the one that they pledged all of their souls to, not just the souls that were there in the coven when I was a kid, but all who were before them and all who preceded them. That was in all those rituals that they were doing, murdering, filleting all those little boys in supposed tribute to me, And so I will tell you that what their problem is that their Antichrist, the one that they pledged their souls to and trained how to do all this cool shit, jumped ship and joined the other side. Their Antichrist serves heaven because the stuff that I know how to do, and I serve heaven. This is what's getting ready to happen. The dark is getting ready to claim its servants and all those who have been infected by their servants. If you have darkness in your heart, you're going to get claimed. That's how it works. Evil is like a virus in mankind's heart. And the dark is the vaccine. Because after spending an eternity in the dark, not only will none of them ever choose evil again, but they'll shit their pants to get away from it as fast as they can. It's the best antidote for it. And so therefore, I realized that the stuff that I did, we're in bad days. Because then I wake up this morning after I have this bizarre dream and I'm already kind of just in deep thought over the dream. I wake up. There's a volcano off of Oregon and under the ocean that's getting ready to explode. In the same article now, they're thinking that Yellowstone is about ready. It's already been active. I mean, if you fall into one of those pools of shit, they don't have anything left of you in 24 hours. It boils you, a bone and all. because some dude just fell into it with his sister trying to save his dog, you know? So in the article that I read this morning, there is a volcano in Oregon, right off the coast of Oregon, that's getting ready to explode. Yellowstone National Park, they think, is going and getting ready to have an eruption. How big, they don't know. But when you consider that there's also a super volcano in Italy that is about ready to explode, it could very well be that the Earth's rotation has basically come to a halt. The Earth's rotation is we're no longer revolving like we should be, for whatever reason. The Earth is tilted at a 35-degree angle. They think that's because of all the groundwater that's been pumped out and all of that. And then the next article that I read, do you know that there's 5 asteroids headed for us? That was the other thing. I didn't read the article because I didn't care. Because usually when you read the articles, they say, oh, they're coming, but they're going to glaze off of us. We've had a lot of near misses. We have had a lot of near misses, I will say. But statistically, how long can that last? And then there is a dent in the magnetic field over Asia. It's a dent. And that dent's been there for a while, but now that dent is dividing and becoming 2. That's what's getting ready to happen. And so, with all that said, what I have realized is heaven is about ready to answer its prayers to me. It is about I'm ready to be blessed with what I've always striven for in all of this. It was my real reward. I want these fucking butt wipes claimed in the dark. And anybody who has dark in your heart, if you do not have love in your heart, you need to go in the dark. And the sad part about it is I keep telling my sheriff, Shelby County, Iowa Sheriff Neil Gross, because I know he watches these. I keep telling you, if you like these child killers so much, give them your kids. But last night, what I realized was, what am I saying? You already have. You've already sacrificed your own children. 3 to 4 generations. If you get condemned, 3 to 4 generations ahead of you also get claimed. Because it's family ties, it's blood ties. The whole lot of you get claimed. So you're not only sacrificing your own kids, but your grandkids and their kids if they have kids. And if their kids have kids, they get claimed too. That's how it works. I'm not saying anything that's not been known. It's not new. What I'm saying is not new. 3 to 4 generations and you get claimed by the dark. And you ain't going to like the dark. You ain't going to like the dark. And when it comes down to the whole dream of heaven showing me, heaven, when I go into, okay, let me just say, because of how my live ended up yesterday, you say any creepy fucking sexual shit to me and I'm going to block your ass. I'm not even going to acknowledge it. This is the last time I'm going to acknowledge it. I am not interested in getting naked and jiggy with anybody. And I don't want to talk about it. And if that's what you want to talk about, go someplace else. I'm not the one. You know? What the fuck is legally kidnapped? That's what they were doing with all those kids down in the border. That's what they do a lot of times with CPS. They're legally kidnapped. They take those kids. And then the kids just disappear. You know? That's the fucking shit. The kids just disappear. You know? And so I know that things are coming to an end. So I can't tell all of you enough. Fill your hearts with love. You know? That's the only safeguard you have. Because, you know, honestly, it's not like I haven't been doing shit. Using my training. The Slime King will say that I, am a warlock. Oh, I'm a warlock. Dude, I'm so much worse. I'm so much worse. Michael Aquino, I know you watch my videos. I know you watch my videos. Let me give you a cool thing about what I learned how to do with shut that you taught me. I'm able to journey, rem- astrally project myself inside to go to heaven. And from heaven, I can connect to all the energy that is at my disposal in heaven. And from there, in the same journey, I can show up in front of you. And when I show up in front of you in my journey, I'm able to take my fingers and stick them in both sides of your head. And I do this because when I do this, I end up using the darkness to scramble your fucking brains. That's the reason why Elon Musk's biographer is coming out, who's followed him for 2 or 3 years, all of a sudden coming out and saying the dude is having a nervous breakdown. He's having a nervous breakdown. It must be the overwork. It must be the fact that he's taking ketamine or whatever the fuck that they say that he's taking, you know? And so I'm able to do that. Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz went through what Johnny Depp did. The only difference is that Johnny Depp was the first time I ever tried to do it. And so heaven told me to go out and announce it. I had to go announce it before anything would happen. But those days are over. Heaven requires me at will to do what I want. If you have darkness in you, the darkness is going to get inside of you. And all these dumbasses won't listen to me when I say, if you have bad intentions for me, it is probably not in your best interest to come dance around and make yourselves known to me. Because I am able to do the shit that I was trained to do. And I know that people do not understand what's going on. But this video, the shit that I'm talking about, is basically for Michael Aquino. Because I know that you watch these, Aquino. I know that you watch them. And I know your group watches these. I know you watch them. There's a reason why you played dead for 3 years. I don't know why you were dumb enough to actually commit suicide a second time. I didn't understand that. But the darkness has, you are my master. And I could not be more grateful to heaven to make me aware that the two people that I hold the most accountable are still alive. That includes you, Mom. How do you like what I can do, Mom? Mom, do you like now that I have to call you Mom? Dad's dead. Don't have to do it anymore. How do you like what I've been doing, Mom? Because I would be willing to bet that you watch these videos too. We're at the end. We're at the end. They think that they've succeeded because they're burning all the fucking shit up. And they're getting ready to take over. They think that they've had, but that's that's the other thing that I was shown. I'm all upset about what's getting ready to happen because I've been like, are you fucking kidding me? So all the shit is going to come down and they get control and be able to do whatever the evil shit they want to do because the stuff they have planned is evil. It's going to cause pain for a lot of people. Rounding up a bunch of people and sending them to jail, going on this hate campaign, this revenge tour. What do you think? What is that going to inspire love? Is that how it works? It's not meant to inspire love. And the Slime King bragging to me that he works with Kash Patel's lawyers but now I realize that they have to have it in their grasp before it can be taken away. They have to have it in their grasp. And then heaven's going to take it away. At the moment they think they've won. It's done. And as far as journeying and using the shit that I was trained to do by Michael Aquino and his group, going to heaven and then going in front of people and sticking my fingers in their head, I've been doing that for a while. And it's funny because I do it and then I find out that Putin has to sit 20 feet away from people. You know, it's funny how it works. That's like, I cannot thank you enough, Aquino, for giving me the shit that you did. And pledging your souls to me was amazing because I gave them right to the dark. Right to the dark. You know? All of your shit. I was the last person you should have pledged your souls to. I was the last person, but you didn't know that. You didn't know that. And it doesn't make any difference who believes me. I know you believe me. You played dead for 3 years. Who else has Michael Aquino so afraid of that he plays dead? And I know it was for me. That's the reason why you had all those members from Temple of Set the first time inundate me. It wasn't about getting me to apologize to Lilith, because everyone knew that was never going to happen. It was so that I knew that you had supposedly committed suicide. That's the whole reason why it happened. But it's like I told you, Frankenstein always loses control of the monster, and the monster always comes back and fucks his creator's shit up. That's what's happening now. You thought I would serve you, but the darkness is your master. Always has been. You all hide in the dark. You all hide your secrets in the fucking dark. And you parade them around thinking that you can't be touched. And now you're all starting to realize you can be touched. And it's not me. It's not me. That's the funny thing about it is in order to get out of what you intended for me, I went to heaven. I serve heaven. Heaven is in control. Heaven has everything in control. The reaping and the dividing of the goats and the sheep, that's all heaven, and it's happening. It's happening. As people are celebrating hate, you ain't gonna like the results. Placing yourself above, if you don't want to go read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, go watch Godspell. It was done in the 70s, but it's something, I don't give a shit what people think. And I'll leave that. I believe you're suffering from a severe psychotic episode. I'm just telling you about the dream that I've had from last night and the shit that's already happening. If you watch what I said yesterday in the live, you won't come away thinking I'm having a psychotic break. So you can't divide one with the other. I'm either psychotic people are always psychotic. That you can't pick and choose. Oh, well, they're normal here, but here that, because you disagree with what I'm saying, Well, dude, then just sit back and be entertained. I don't understand the reason why you think that you can actually come in and think that you're going. Michael Aquino is not dead. Their Nazi ass bullshit they're on the verge of actually doing it, and they've been open about it. They're very open about what they're about ready to do. And it's not going to work. And you'll either fill your heart with love. Oh, no. You'll either fill your heart with love or you'll get claimed. And you can have whatever opinion you want about me. It won't make any difference whatsoever. When you get claimed, you ain't going to be able to say, oh, well, that dude on YouTube. Not going to work. The message is simple. fill your heart with love, or be claimed by the dark. It's always been the same message. And this pedophile, Nazi, child trafficking bullshit, you think you've won by burning all the shit up, but you haven't won shit. In fact, you lost control of it because you don't control the hurricane winds. What's happening in Las Vegas, or what's happening in LA, is biblical, just like the hurricanes that we had at the beginning were biblical. Just what, less than a year ago? The F4 tornado that was a mile away from my house was biblical. What's happening with the sun is biblical. There is no way to survive what's coming. There's no way to survive it. So you'll either think about your soul and what's going to happen to you after, or you're fucked. It's as simple as that, you know? And you can tell yourself whatever bullshit you need to tell yourself in order to, what? Convince everyone that you don't need to fill your heart with love? Okay, you know? Okay. But the shit that's getting ready to happen is getting ready to happen. The stuff that I'm talking about with the sun and the earthquakes and the magnetic field and that dent in the magnetic field and all of the solar flares and the asteroids that are coming to us, that's all fucking shit you can find online. It was just simply, a lot of it was in my news feed this morning. Google news feed. All you have to do is Google the news feed, you know? I'm just saying the shit that was spiritual, because I was trained in that. Michael Aquino was brilliant, you know? No, it won't be end of the world stuff. A supervolcano, but two supervolcanoes. The supervolcano in Italy is already getting ready to explode. They've been talking about that before. But now they're talking about Yellowstone and in what place on Oregon. I'm sure you'll be fine. I'm sure everything will be fine for you. You know? You'll live through it. That's the problem. Who knows what will happen? Because everyone who's not in LA is watching it like it's a fucking Hollywood movie. But you know, those people who are in LA who have just lost everything, I guarantee you it means more. You know, I bet it means way more than a Hollywood movie. You know? Mount Rainier's having problems. And so is Mount Hood. My suggestion is, you're a dumbass. Go find out yourself. Go climb right up. Make an appointment. Go climb tomorrow. Fuck. Leave this afternoon. You know? Dumbasses who think that they are totally impervious to what's going to happen, what's already happening, you know? And the Santa Ana winds, they're not supposed to, first of all, they're not supposed to be hurricane force winds, and it's too early. It's everything is, you know, fill your heart with love or you're fucked, you know? Are you going to fluff out your hair today? The thing about it is that my hair, I ended up putting castor oil in my hair because it was so frizzy, and I don't want to, because this shit is making my head hurt, putting it up in a bun or fasten it in the back is killing me. I'm afraid that's what's helping with the headaches. And so, I'm just saying that it'll probably happen in 2025. It's getting ready to happen. It's getting ready to happen. And it's not going to be like a Hollywood movie. It's going to be one fucking awful thing after another thing after another thing. In the end, as it's prophesized, the living are going to envy the dead. It's not going to be an all at once, all encompassing thing. It hasn't been. It hasn't been. All the shit is happening here and there and here and here. Wars and rumors of wars in various places. Earthquakes in various places. It's not going to happen all at once. And the misery that is coming from it. We are just not even on the other side of these LA fires. We're not even on the other side. They're still burning. You know, the Bible will tell us that they will want to die, but can't. Pray for a death that will not come. That's, you know, and what I saw in my dream is that it's coming. I need to stop whining and bitching because about what I've always hoped for is getting ready. You know, these dickheads are going to get claimed. They're going to get claimed and they're going to get put in the dark. And then they get to experience every tear that their group has ever caused. You know? So I take it that you are along with the dumbass who's now texting me on my phone. And the who's texting me is the Dead Isaac Happy Club. Because they're mad at my video yesterday. Because I called them all out. The stuff that I say is really, I mean, this one, I knew that this was going to be a controversial one. I knew it was going to be controversial. You know? But yesterday, the one that I did yesterday, I stand by everything I said. You know? I've been at this for a long time. I was taught, I was trained by some really, really knowledgeable Nazis, you know, who knew all about the occult. There was probably no one who knew more about the occult than the fucking people who were training me. And a whole bunch of other people. It's not like I was the only one. But I will say that I don't think that they were sacrificing kids and pledging their souls to anybody else. I don't think that happened, you know? And so on my phone, it's either Gio or Daniel. Either way. You wouldn't be on my shit texting me if what I'm saying wasn't true. Who are you arguing with? Me? You know? And now you're on here, you know? It's just exactly a mission with Jack Daniels. Am I gonna, Gio, are you gonna call me at 11:30 drunk off your ass again and leave me another message? Is that how it's gonna work? You know? All of your shit is coming out. All of it is coming out. People are well aware of your shit anymore. They're aware of my sheriff shit. And the fact that you all bound yourselves up in his intestines was very, very beneficial to me because I can connect all of you with him now, you know, because Gov has great ideas. It is Geo, dude, and you're drunk. Oh my God. Are you ever sober? What about your kids? You know? Yes, bad people think that they're edgy and that they're cool and that they're powerful. That's how they gain their power. And they're going to find out it's not going to work well for them. It's not going to fill your heart with love. You know, fill your heart with love. And just for a feel-good Sunday afternoon, go watch Godspell. Godspell is one of my favorite musicals. It's a musical version of the Gospel of Matthew. And the Gospel of Matthew is one of my favorite Gospels. I think I spoke about Godspell in my live yesterday. I didn't watch my live from yesterday, to be quite honest. You know, sometimes I watch them, sometimes I don't. Good for you, Deborah. Been clean 30 years. Alcoholism destroys kids. It destroys kids. Oh my God. And he thinks he's just clever. He's texting me. As I'm doing this video, he's texting me over and over and over. You know? Godspell is awesome. It's just an amazing. It's one of my favorite. But then so is V for Vendetta for completely different reasons, but kind of for the same. You know, I love V for Vendetta. Don't agree with all of it, but I identify with it. You know, all of the experimentations. Alcohol is one of the most morally destructive substances. I don't cry at the end of V because that's how it's always supposed to work. You know, that's how it's always supposed to work. In true mythos, and I'm not talking myth, I'm talking at the very beginning of mankind, we had this, what was called a mythos. Mythos, mythos. And if you, Jung used that in a lot with his archetypes. And sacrificing yourself for the good of others is one of the things we're supposed to do. It's one of the options that we're supposed to choose. That's why I chose it, you know? Because I knew going after these idiots, I knew what I would be inflicting on myself. Are you kidding me? You know? They murdered a friend of mine, and then when her dad came to see if we knew anything about it when I was 10, they made me light him on fire. Then my only and first best friend, David Klotz, during Franklin, they murdered him. Again, go listen to the interview that I did with I just had a brain fart. Wait, Michael Brunell. And we talk about David, you know. He talks about when he was there when Troy Bonner's brother got shot in the head. But we also talk about David. They murdered him. Then they murdered my sister Cindy, who was 3 in my older videos, right? It's part of my older videos. Some of the really, really good stuff is at the very beginning of this channel. The interviews that I was doing and all of that. And so, but then they murdered my sister 3 weeks after my dad. They've murdered Isaac. They murdered Owen. They just do whatever the fuck they want to me whenever they want. That's the reason why I try to stay away from people. I'm not close to people anymore. And I don't do it because I am antisocial. I do it because it's not safe to get close to me. If they think that I care about you, you're gay, they're gay. They'll come after you. That's what they do or have. I think that things have started to change now because they can't get rid of me. You can't cast all those rituals on me and then take me out like you did everyone else, like all those rituals didn't matter. They do it with their machines, but they don't show up, you know? Oh my God. But I do, even though I'll block you, I will say, yeah, I need to lose weight. And God is within me. The reason why I've been allowed to continue, because it's not like they haven't tried to kill me. Whatever they were beaming at me in Algona, Washington, I lost 100 pounds in 2 months. I was down to 160 pounds. That's until I got rid of those weird ass rocks that were in my yard. There was 12 of them that encircled my house. They had never been there. They were planted like they had always been there, but they weren't there before. They were big pieces of concrete or rocks. And what they all had in common is that the tops of them were all exposed and they had this weird black metallic mold on them. And they were hitting, when I got rid of those rocks, the weight loss stopped and I gained all the weight, you know? What I hear is that the shit that was on him was smart dust. But I'm sure, why don't you go climb your mountain, dude? Why don't you go climb your mountain? You know, God is telling you to go climb your mountain. right now. Go for a walk, do anything. And so, well, you don't need to be in here. No one has a gun to your head. You're in here because you want to be in here because you want attention. That's what's happening. Well, good. Because you're just in here to create dissension. You're just making snide little comments, thinking that you're actually somebody special. And I'm about ready to fucking block you. Exactly. He's annoying. You know? You don't like listening. You're not listening. You're listening so that you can respond. That's not listening. You might be hearing what I'm saying, but you ain't listening to shit. You're not challenging my thoughts. You're making snide ass little comments. That's not the same thing. You're trying to be superior. You're the one who's more in tuned, more intelligent, more put together. You're the one who has all the witty little comments. When he gets sober, he's quiet. Dude, I said that. I'm saying why the fuck do you think I care? See, I'm about ready to block your stupid ass. I'm about ready to block your stupid ass because I don't need it. And I don't have to do it. It's my venue. And you're Geo. Oh, you're gone. Just texted me again, Fill your heart with love. We're at the end. The sun has been blasting us with I don't know how many. We just got hit with the cannibal CME. Oh, and now he's just texting me over and over and over again. It's Geo, and I bet he's drunk. But he can't leave a message on my answering machine because it's full, and I'm not gonna get rid of it. Anybody who knows me knows to text me. Captain Underpants, part of the Dead Isaac Cappy Club. He and it's a big long thing, and I don't want to use this live to go into the Dead Isaac Cappy Club. There's plenty of shit, and my blog, davidshurter.com. You can go read all kinds of shit there. I haven't been posting to it lately just because I've had other shit to do. It's hard enough to actually do these videos and spend the time that I have to, let alone all the emails and all the texts and just the constant harassment. No. See, for me, things are a bit different. It's a bit different. And the dude murdered my fucking friend and went out of his way to brag about it. And that's why he's so obsessed with me, along with his partner, who was dumb enough to post a bunch of live videos, and now he's texting me again. Sending me images. God only knows what the fucking images are. When I've had enough, I've had enough. And I play. I was raised to be the vessel for the fucking Antichrist. Why do you think that I'm Jesus Christ? I keep telling people I'm the antithesis of Jesus Christ. If you have dark shit in your heart, you're going to get claimed by the dark. That's how it's going to work. He's drunk. I'm sure he's drunk. And God only knows what fucking images he's sending me on my phone. I can't show it on camera. I'd have to get off here to go on my phone. I'm not fucking with it. And I don't care. I don't care. The other side exists. Your soul exists. Your soul exists. It's what gives you life. Your soul exists and energy never dies. Can be created, neither created nor destroyed. Can be need that means that our souls are eternal. Okay, dude. No, I'm not playing this game. And I am not a Trump supporter. How many times do I have to say that Fred Trump was in Hummel Park murdering kids right along with everyone else? He was always there. There were some that were always there. Mike Aquino was always there. George Bush Sr., always there. Buffett, always there. Scalia, more than not. You know, that's Hummel Park was a bad place. They were sacrificing kids. I wrote a book about it. Got nominated for Book of the Year. I probably should do this though. $30. I'm selling these, $30. Venmo and PayPal is D Shurter. Just my first initial D, my last name, Shurter, right here. Tell me where I'm mailing it and who I'm inscribing it to. $30. And so I remember your old videos on Hummel. I hate those videos because those videos, I was so mad because that was when I was fighting tooth and nail with franklinfiles.net. So when I did the walking tour of Pedophile Omaha and walked through the old market and explained how everything was working, and then went to Hummel Park and explained how everything was working, I did it because I was irritated. So when you watch those, yeah, it's good information, but the anger in my voice is palatable. And so prophecies do not have a set time. We just know what's coming. We don't know when, you know? They use that against me. Oh my God. If you guys could see, it doesn't come up on your screen. But he just keeps sending me image after image after image after image after image. It's just, and they're about to be claimed. But I also know that it's at the end. It's interesting. I will say something. One of the trolls yesterday said that I said that I voted for Trump. And it occurred to me thinking about it, that is not what I said. What he's referring to is a conversation that I had with my sister. Because I lived in Washington at the time when Trump ran against Hillary Clinton. And in Washington, I suppose you can vote in person, but everybody gets a voter thing. You just vote and then put it in the mail and send it off. And I had that card on my desk for a week and a half. And because it was on my desk, I thought about it every day, all the time, because I stared at it all the time. In the end, I ended up throwing that card away because I came to the conclusion that I didn't hate mankind enough to vote for either one of them. And so I didn't vote for Trump. However, I did tell my sister Kathy, who was mad at me when Trump won, that I wouldn't go to Seattle and march for Hillary Clinton. And I told her it would be a cold day in hell before I ever took a bullet in the ass for that bitch. And then told my sister, and knowing that it would probably make her angry, told her that had I voted, I would have voted for Trump because I would have never voted for Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton would have declared martial law and had all of us locked up lickety-split. I didn't trust her at all. And she knew how the system worked. And for me at the time, the only thing that made Trump worthwhile is he's an idiot and didn't know how anything worked. And so I would vote for him because he didn't know how anything voted or anything worked. And so I felt we were safer with Trump, who was an idiot, than with Hillary Clinton, who knew exactly how everything worked, you know? And so, and I would never vote for Trump. He's just following his daddy's footsteps. His daddy was a child killing Nazi. I know that from personal experience as a child in Hummel Park. I've been quite open about it for so many years. You know, what's going to end up happening, what heaven's using me for, is they're to be brought down by their own hand, by their own handiwork. I'm part of that. Because of my training, because they pledged their souls to me, I am part of their handiwork. And that is why heaven is requiring me. Oh my God. And I don't know what he thinks he's proving, because when I'm done with this and I go on, I'm not looking at all of his shit. I just archive all of it, you know, because I don't care, you know. In a way, it makes me feel sad for them. Oh, God, it hasn't stopped, Sherilyn. Every time you see me do this, it's because I'm getting rid of the message. You know? Any notable missing kid that ended up in Hummel Park besides Gosh? Gosh didn't end up in Hummel Park. Gosh was in West Des Moines. You know? Hummel Park isn't known for fucking abducting kids. It's for sacrificing kids. They were sacrificing kids over that pentagram that was in that pavilion above the Devil's Staircase. The Devil's Slide wasn't a slide when I was a kid. What it was a place, it was a peak. So they could go out onto that peak and you can see the road on both sides. And they had police who closed down the entrances because Hummel Park only had 2 entrances. So they closed down both entrances. And then the parking lot that was on the bottom below the Devil's Staircase, that would be full of cars. Full of cars. And all those people were having sex with animals and kids on those steps in the pavilion where no one was allowed except the actual top cult members, which included my dad. I was being trained as my father's son, so I was there. We were in the pavilion, fucking slicing and dicing kids. For me, it was all prepubescent white boys. That's all I remember. But my sister Cindy, my sister Kathy, my brother Steven told me they fucking killed anybody they wanted. Men, women, adult, children. The one thing that no one ever talked about were babies. No babies were sacrificed. But I was thinking about it this morning and thought, but babies did get sacrificed because Dad had to sacrifice David. I have an older brother, my dad's firstborn son. His name was also David. He didn't live more than 24 hours. It's what destroyed my mother. Oh, God. God only knows what he's doing. And you know he's just online looking up pictures to send me, you know? That pentagram is no longer there. They completely rebuilt the pavilion. It's gone. No more fire, no more fireplaces, no more pentagram. They ripped everything up. A year after my documentary. Not even. It wasn't even a year before that when my documentary came out. It wasn't my documentary. It was that Hummel Park video. That's when they tore it down. They tore it down. It's not there anymore. It was there, but it's not there anymore. You know, we're being brought to God. The ascension is coming. You know, people seem to think that Jesus Christ is coming and then they're going to be able to argue why their sin, why their hearts filled with dark is going to be okay. Oh, Jesus, dude. I'm not the one who's involved with child trafficking, Gio. That's you. I'm not the one who's using all of the shit that you took from Isaac, who was trying to use it to help kids, and now your group is using it to fucking target kids. That's you. So instead of calling me names, that's the shit's on you. They are investigating what Isaac Cappy was involved with before he ended up dead. And that includes you, because you were involved with Isaac before he was dead. So was Daniel. So was the whole Sewer Town group. You were all involved with Isaac before Isaac ended up dead. You are involved with the very group that is the reason why Isaac Cappy is dead. You are the reason why Owen is dead. You are just attacking me over and over and over in your little text things, thinking that it's going to change anything. And it's not. It's not going to change anything. And so what you have to understand is in heaven, we're on the third day. You say that 200 years is imminently. In heaven's time, yeah. Because it's written that 1,000 years here is in one day in heaven. So as far as heaven goes, that's just it. He is blocked, and then he comes on another number. You know, it's just frustrating, you know? Oh, you don't think words don't mean anything. What word are you talking about? It is scripturally written that one day in heaven is 1,000 years here. Maybe it is directed in heaven's time, not mankind. Because who fucking controls things? Heaven, not man. But it's all you and your ego. You're the one that it revolves around. Heaven revolves around you. You are above heaven. Heaven has to do how you expect heaven to work. That's how it works. You know? I am not having this argument. I just don't care. Fill your heart with love or don't fill your heart with love. Justify not filling your heart with love with anything you want. Justify I don't understand the argument against it, but use it. Don't fill your hearts with love. But when you end up in the fucking dark, blame yourself and your own fucking ignorance. That's how it works. You know, time did not start when Christ died. Exactly. You know, but I'm not going to get into these arguments today, you know, and this is my venue. Let me remind everybody, it is my venue. If I don't want to deal with it on my venue, I can block you and it's my right and I'll use it, you know, and I don't need permission. Don't need permission, you know. I don't see anybody asking my permission how to live their lives, you know? And so I don't understand why people think I need theirs. No, she made that up. Did Noreen claiming she met Johnny in his 20s? Did she make that up or did she made that up? Johnny Gosch was murdered when he became a nationally known person and his picture was everywhere. They fucking killed him. Why on earth would anyone think that it is plausible or sensible that they would risk their entire operation being exposed for one fucking kid. He was murdered. And when it comes down to Noreen Gosh, I have a good example of how I know she's lying, because she was the one who went out of her way to argue with Jeff Gannon, because they were trying to say that Jeff Gannon was Johnny Gosh. But no one bothered to ask Noreen Gosh, okay, so this dude who came, who visited you when he was 27, was it Jeff Gannon? Nobody asked that question. And why? Because everyone was caught up in the intrigue and the entertainment. They do all kinds of stupid shit for entertainment value because nobody thinks it through. You know, Noreen Gosh has had the information to break this case for years. Not only did she have all my information, but she was calling my sister Kathy. After my sister, she would wait till like 9 o'clock at night and wait, knowing that Kathy had probably taken her Ambien and was going to bed. So she would call my sister Kathy at night over and over and over and over and over, and then drill her for information when she was high on Ambien. And I know all about this because Kathy would call me like I had any influence over Noreen Gosh, asking me to ask her to stop. Noreen Gosh is a gatekeeper. Ted Gunderson, gatekeeper. John DeCamp, gatekeeper. Paul Bonacci, gatekeeper. All of the heroes that you've been fed all these years are gatekeepers. They work for the bad people, you know? She is in the news because she is the gatekeeper. Everybody feels sorry for her. Oh, it's safe for her to lay low. Like when all the child trafficking came out, the whole thing with Ted Gunderson and Michael Aquino going on national news, like that, keeping low. Yeah, like that, like just like that, right? Just like that. You know, they would never go on fucking national television over and over and over and over and talk about their stupid shit. That would never fucking happen, right? You know, Ted Gunderson wasn't going on the circuit with Michael Aquino, who was dressed like Merlin. You know, that would never happen, right? Never. It's in their best interest to lay low, right? Because that's how it worked, right? That's how it worked, right? Do you see how frustrating all of this gets? Because I keep having to argue the same stupid shit year after year, decade after decade. That's the reason why I don't count on mankind to do any of this. Oh my God. I'm not even going to play. I didn't even really read that, but I know it's Geo because it didn't make sense to me. Did it make sense to you, Sherilyn? I didn't understand what he was saying. They're all gatekeepers. They're all gatekeepers. If they have a huge audience and they're raking in money and they're going everywhere, they're fucking gatekeepers. I have been at this for years and don't have what the gatekeepers have. The hundreds of thousands of viewers. What they do is go after all my shit and try and get it all taken down. That's what I end up having to deal with, you know? That Cezabar person who's Lucian Greaves' wannabe girlfriend. Gatekeeper. Eichmann. Is that his name? The dude in UK? Eichmann. Gatekeeper. You know? They're all gatekeepers. They all feed everyone with this fucking bullshit because everyone's entertained by it. They find it intriguing. But notice how it never goes anywhere. Notice how no one ever gets called out. It never goes anywhere. And that's how you know that they're gatekeepers. Yeah, it keeps her relevant. If Noreen Gosh stays in the news, it keeps her relevant. You know, Gunderson, it kept him relevant until they murdered him because they poisoned him. You know, that's, they eat their own. You know, she's addicted to the attention. She can't get enough. She can't get enough. And she has her own, trust me, I learned this on Franklin Files. She has her own little group that follow her. They all want to be like these little leaders that have this following, you know? And I've never been interested in. Yes, it can be said now that there are people in here who follow me. But for years, I never let anybody comment. It wasn't until, what, a little over a year ago that I started to let people comment and opened up comments on for Isaac Happy. It's never been, I didn't care about followers. I just wanted the information out. That's all I cared about, was the information that needs to come out. She knows about the Aquasino brothers. She knows that my dad was involved. My dad called her. And how I know my dad called her is because Noreen Gosh told me that my dad called her, talking about how he had committed crimes against kids and he had skeletons in his closet. The same shit he said to me. She just didn't know who he was until she heard me start talking. That was when she found out that my dad called her. That's the whole reason why, when my dad was sick and couldn't get around, when my stepmother left for work in the morning, she'd go down into the basement and take the phone off the hook. So my dad couldn't call anybody, which really sucked for him when he fell and there was no phone. So he laid on the floor for 9 hours because he couldn't call anybody to help him because the phone was off the hook. Because my stepmother was involved with my dad abducting and murdering kids, which is what I have said from the very fucking beginning. You know, it's the same thing I've said all this time. I just keep saying the same stuff. That's why I'm glad heaven came to me last night and I had the dream that I did, because it's almost over. Because I am so fucking sick of having to relive all of this stuff all the time. You know, fight this stuff all the time. And they're more aware of it than anybody. Some people get told and they just find it entertaining and they don't fucking do shit because they don't care. But there's a lot of you that listen to it who don't do anything because you don't know what the fuck to do. And I know that because a lot of you have actually asked me, what do I do? And I can't tell you. I'm fumbling around in the dark a lot of times with this stuff. All I know is that it needs to be exposed, you know? So like and share my stuff. And when I say share, I don't mean on YouTube. I mean contact your local authorities. Maybe not so much with this video, but the live I did yesterday, that would be a good start, you know? The military is all involved with it. And so is law enforcement, you know? I don't go to church because I've watched. Unity Church. When Sky St. John brought in, I was head of the fundraising for the new building with the congregation. Gifts from the Heart. Me, my partner, and a friend of ours were all working together to get people to donate to the church to build this new church that was going on. Sky St. John got Alan Bear involved. Alan Bear never left me alone. Alan Bear was my handler up until about 6 months before he died. you know, and brought him in. So Alan Bear gets all involved with Unity Church, and I'm thinking we're doing good. And what ended up happening is that Sky St. John fucked Alan Bear out of a huge amount of money because Sky St. John took the money and ran and went and moved to Hawaii thinking he'd be safe there. You know, what happened to old Sky St. John? Well, the official story is he swam out into the ocean to commit suicide. The truth is, Alan Bear had someone grab that guy, probably take him 20 miles out of the fucking ocean and then threw him in to see if he could swim back, which obviously he couldn't. You know, the whole summer where 27 gay guys ended up committing suicide in Omaha, that was all Alan Bear. He was the gatekeeper for Franklin. He was the gatekeeper for Franklin. In my life, he replaced Michael Aquino. You know, Aquino and Gunderson were in constant contact with each other. They were working together. The game back then is the same as it is now. Controlled opposition. They all act like they're against each other. They all act like they're opposed with each other, but they're not. They're all one big group. So when you look at them, look at the people that they're bitching about and go look at them too, because they're all working together. And that's the reason why I say they treat victims who try to break this out like a ping pong ball. Oh, I'm working with Phoenix Enigma. Oh, I'm working with the Slime King. Oh, I'm working with the porn actress. Oh, I'm working for Sewer Town. I'm not with any of them. By the way, I do have a question. What the fuck is QAnon-SEC? QANONSEC. The only thing that I could pull up is that they have a thing claiming that they control the internet. What the fuck is this group? Because I got an email last night after my live saying, oh, now I'm connected to QAnon-SEC. I don't even know what the fuck it is. All I know is that what I could find was that they're using that Nazi frog, that Pepe frog that is known as a Nazi hate symbol now. That's what it's involved with. And so it's all the Q people. That's what I thought. You know? I'm not connected with any of them other than the fact that the darkness is going to claim every one of their fucking stupid asses. That's how I'm connected to them. The dark is going to fucking claim every motherfucking one of them. And that's how I'm connected to them. But I'm sick of this ping pong. You know who I'm connected to? Heaven. Heaven. Do you know who calls my shots? Heaven. Do you know who I serve? Our brother, Jesus Christ, and the Word. I don't even serve Jesus Christ. I serve the Word. That's who my handler is, the Word. That's the reason why I come on here all the time, telling people, fill your hearts with love, or you're going to be claimed by the dark. Ooh, this has not been I appreciate you guys, but I just realized, I always take that minute, that second to check and just realized, this has been like kind of almost a frustrating live, Jesus asked us, we are to emulate Jesus Christ. We're not to worship him. We're not to worship him. The stuff that I wear, this cross that I wear, has much more to do with the fact that it is the green on it is Connemara marble. It has to do more with my Irish heritage, which has everything to do with my mom. That's why I wear an Irish claddagh with it. If they hung Jesus Christ, would we be worshiping a noose? I don't want to be reminded of Jesus Christ's death. That's what the Luciferians are all involved with. I'm way more involved in his life and how he asks us to live. Again, if you have any questions, go watch Godspell. One of the best movies. It's in the 70s. It's a musical, but one of the best movies. I would be willing to bet that that playing in the background while I'm sleeping had a lot to do of influencing my dreams. You know, I really do think that it had a lot to do to influence what the dreams that I had last night. But I know this is all at the end. Their hate shit, yeah, they think they've won. They're right on the verge of thinking everything is in their fucking hands. And it's because that's when God, day by day, that song always makes me cry because it's the words. Don't listen to the music and think, oh, this is 70s, the music sucks. Listen to the words. Listen to what is said in the movie. But I think it's a great movie myself. I do. But the Gospel of Matthew is my favorite. The Gospel of Matthew and the Gospel of Thomas. Those are the two favorites of all of, and obviously the Gospel is of the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Gospel of Thomas is the Dead Sea Scrolls. But the kingdom of heaven is inside of us and all around us, not in buildings made of wood and stone. Split a piece of wood and you will find me. Lift a rock and I am there. That's what Jesus Christ said, because heaven is inside of us and all around us. We are a part of it as much as it is a part of us. That's why I say fill your hearts with love. The message is simple. And I've never understood an argument against it. Never. And as far as this child trafficking bullshit, they're fucked. They're fucked. They can dance around. They can send me on whatever fucking text they want, whatever email they want. They can do whatever the fuck they want. But it's over. And it's done. Oh my God. And then Gio jumps on here again. He said something about Elmo. They like Elmo. Gio sent me a picture of Elmo with a gun to his head and then another picture of Elmo dead in the gutter. So what is it about Elmo? I understand Pepe the Frog, but I don't understand Elmo. Thank you, Amy. I try to be. Heaven is with us if we can just get through this time with our souls intact. What's waiting ahead of the faithful, you just don't understand. It is so amazing. Because next time there is no fallen. Evil is contained into the dark. Those who find themselves in the new garden will breathe joy. Heaven and mankind interact at will with each other. And all heaven wants to do is create joy and love. The word, because what does love inspire? Joy. Anybody who has love in their life has joy. You might have, right now, you might have a bunch of other shit other than love, but those things that you love, that are involved, that you have a relationship of love, it loves you, you love it. And that, when I say it, I just mean everything in your life. It can be a spouse, an animal, If you have love, it inspires joy. In your own heart, it inspires joy. It is hard to be angry when your heart is struggling to be full of love. And right now, in these days, it's a minute by minute thing sometimes. Sometimes it's a second by second thing. And it comes in waves. Sometimes it's easier to do than others. But when you get into those low points, just keep reminding yourselves and act accordingly because it's a choice. Love is a choice. A mother's love for their kids, there is no pure love. And it's not that every mother loves their kids, because they don't. My mother sold me, Noreen Gosh sold hers. My mother sold all of us. You know, our dad sold all of us. Just because they can produce a kid doesn't, the maternal love instinct thing doesn't just come. You know, it's either there or it's not. And when it's not there, fuck, those kids are screwed. That's been my personal experience. But because I followed the word all of my life, I tried to honor my parents, regardless of what they put me through. Because the 10 commandments and the 2 that Jesus Christ gave us, love God and love everyone else, were given to us without any caveats. You don't see honor your mother and father, except, or maybe not, or, you know, they weren't suggestions. They're commandments. We will follow them or do our best to follow them as best as we can. If we don't, there are consequences. God is only indulgent to a certain point, and that point is coming to an end. And when that point comes to an end, the indulgence will come with a wrath that is already starting to happen. We are already starting to see it. Others, you personally might not be experiencing it right now, but I assure you, there are plenty of people who are. And in the end, we all will. If we're here, we all will. And some of us will be here. Not because we're bad people, but because we're an army sent from heaven, we chose to be here. And our mission is to get as many people through this with their souls intact as we possibly can. And how do we do that? We just keep reminding them to fill their hearts with love, and we lead by example. Even when it is not in our own self-interest. Because usually when God asks you to do something, one, it's always out of your comfort zone. And two, it's not promised that it's going to be beneficial to you. In fact, sometimes it takes a big ass chunk out of your hide. But we're to do it anyway because we have faith. Be sure of what you hope for and certain of what you do not see. What I hoped for is that this evil ass group gets claimed and suffers in the damn dark. They get to experience every tear that group has ever caused. And let me tell you, they'll be crying oceans of tears. Every single one of them is individuals. Each one of them will cry oceans of tears. And I am certain that it's happening. You know, leading by example is hard. It is hard. And that's the reason why when you fall down, you just get up and ask. You point out, okay, I just screwed up. I'm sorry. You know, yesterday I blocked that person and then apologized, you know, and this whole calm down David bullshit is not going to work with me. You know, I'll have whatever fucking emotion I want to have, and I don't need anyone's permission to get it, you know, because it's not meant to actually be helpful. It's meant to actually sow discord and doubt in people's heads, you know, because that's what they do. They divide. They don't unite. Aren't we kind of sick of being divided? You know, I'm sick of it. Which makes me kind of a hypocrite because I want those motherfuckers divided from everyone else, you know? And they're the ones who are the most in my life, always have been. Always have been from the very beginning, actually, really. You know, never been a moment in my life they weren't there. But then there's never been a moment in my life that I haven't been fighting back and fighting against them. That's why heaven has me here, because heaven knows I'm never going to quit. I want this as bad as heaven does. In fact, in some ways, I can't even say that I want it worse because heaven wanted it as well. So when I asked heaven to help me fuck them and get them claimed and separate, it wasn't like heaven had that much. Heaven was eager to do it as well. Was happy that I was able wanting to join the cause, you know? And I offered my life and soul to all of this, to heaven, to have this done. Which, funny, later on, thinking about it, I offered heaven my soul. They already have my soul. Have all of our souls. God has control of all of our souls. So it was basically, offering him something he already had. But regardless, what's one life to give to God? Really, in the scope of everything, the fact that your soul is eternal, what is one life to give to God? It's not that big a thing. It seems like that right now when we're living the life because but in the scope of everything, what is one life to give to God? You know? And let me tell you, it's so worth it. It sucks. There are things that just, because the bad people want to kill your light. That's what ends up happening. If you hide your light under a bushel, they're fine with that. But the minute you don't, they're on top of you. And that's just not me. They go after everyone. And so it kind of sucks to have that kind of attention. But I will tell you, even though I have my doubts sometimes, I always come back when I look at it sensibly. It's so worth it. It's so worth it. And it's the right thing to do. And it feels, it hasn't been easy. Speaking of, anybody who wants to donate or buy a book, I'd certainly appreciate it because I am broke. But Venmo or PayPal, D Shurter. Tell me who I'm inscribing it to because I always write something in it. And then tell me where I'm mailing it. But $30. I got nominated for Book of the Year. I just called my publisher because I'm completely broke. So I do have $30 from my publisher. But that was from the very beginning of November to now, January, 11th? And I made $30. So I make about $30 or so every quarter. Because I had to do some stuff last year, I ended up making about $300 the whole year on books. So nobody gets rich writing a book unless you're Stephen King. And yes, you can buy it cheaper on Amazon. And if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can get it with no shipping. I can't offer that, but you also won't have it inscribed and signed either, for what it's worth. For what I end up having to pay for the books and then mailing it, I only make about $10 because I can only buy a certain amount of books. So each book ends up costing me about $15. And it costs me to mail it in the United States, it is $5, about $5. $4.60 to $5 generally. It's hard to believe when things are crumbling. Do you think those people in LA think that things are crumbling? Be grateful where you stand right now because it can change with a frickin' instant and is going to change. We were told these days were coming. It will never have been this bad before, and it will never be this bad again. But these days are going to be hard. Anyone who tells you differently is lying to you. I'm not going to fill you, I'm not going to blow sunshine up your ass to make you feel better. This shit's going to suck. Trust me, I'm living it and it sucks, but it's worth it. And not only is it worth it, we are obligated. We have been commanded. You know, we've been commanded. And people can say whatever they want, but go against the commands. Don't fill your heart with love, you know? But when you end up in the dark, and it's hard, how can you be in a war-torn place and still have love in your heart? You can still be angry at the people who did it, but the people that are around you, the people who need you, the people that are right there, that's God giving you the opportunity to love, you know? Yeah, the light is. Heaven has kind of been like that with me lately, you know? When you ask who can you love, strangers, people in your life, you know? And I'm not talking hold hands and sing kumbaya with everybody, but actually being nice for people. Oh, geez, Gio, go away. You know, when you're at a grocery store, be nice to people. Say friendly things. If not friendly things, just, you know, an encouraging word to if a stranger comes up to you out of nowhere and gives you an encouraging word or a compliment or something that actually inspires you to feel better about the day, it makes a difference. Doesn't it? Doesn't it? If it makes a difference for you, if someone did it, think about how much of a difference you can make in other people's lives. You know, instead of all this Nazi fascist bullshit, because they're the nastiest fucking people I've ever met in my entire life. The people who have come in here and done their shit. Have they inspired love out of you? No. They're fucking nasty ass people who make people feel dirty when they're around them. That's the fruit they bear. That's the fruit they bear, you know? And you can choose something different. You can choose something different to go out and inspire someone or be someone, you know, to be an inspiration. Each day, try to inspire someone, be an inspiration for someone. Make someone's life a little bit better for you being in it. That's, if you want to know what to do, that's my suggestion. Every day. And don't jump and announce it to everyone. Just do it. Yes, the person that you're helping, they probably will know. When you're being nice to them, they will know. Doing that is a lot different than doing that and then walking around and seeing, see what I did, see what I did. That's not how it works. Just be a good person. You know, hold a door open for someone, for God's sake. You know, say hello to someone, smile at someone, you know, someone who's not expecting it. Be an inspiration to people around you, you know, make the world a better place for you being in it. That's what you can do. That's how you can focus this, you know, and it'll take thought. But after enough thought and enough practice, it'll start to work on its own. You'll start to do things in ways that you're not even aware of it. You know, that's how it works. You want to be a good person, then practice being a good person. And that's not saying be a doormat. That's not saying let people abuse you. That's not saying that at all. But trust me, not everyone out there is an asshole. In fact, in my experience, and trust me, I have a lot of assholes in my life. But out and about, even in my life, there are some amazingly beautiful people. They're out there. You just have to have faith that they're there. And yeah, you're going to come across a dickhead. More than not, especially nowadays. And you just realize they're a dickhead, you bless them and let them go on their way. Because, and don't take it personally. Because trust me, I'm not the only person Geo is a dickhead into in his life. I'm sure there's a lot of people in his life he's a dickhead to. That goes with every fucking one of them. You know, all they do is suck energy. They take. You know, I've always found it to be better to be a giver. You know, yes, I will ask for donations, but people offering me help is not taking. Sometimes when you open the door to let others help you, that blesses them, you know? And trust me, it's not like I'm not blessing other people. I just don't have money right now. But I have material. I make stuff for people, you know? I try to help people as much as I can. I have time. So I end up helping people. You know, you give what you have. And if you don't have it, then you don't give it. And just because you don't have something and you can't give it doesn't mean you can't ask for it. All you do is open the door. Right, Sherilyn, you open the door. You know, you open the door. Sometimes we need people to help us. For a lot of years, I didn't. When I was married, I was always the one helping. It was an adjustment from going from being the one who actually was really trying to help everyone to needing people's help. You know, I went from having a lot to nothing. But with faith, it works that way. It's always an ebb and tide. And now I'm kind of in the middle, you know. Don't have money to, I have $30 now, so I have some money to put some in the gas tank. But it's what, the 12th? You know, I'm broke. But then so are a lot of people, you know. But when it comes down to it, my house didn't burn down. I'm not 90 years old having to start over again. So it's really hard for me to actually, you know, and let's be honest, in America, we can bitch about what we want, but we have it better. Even the poorest have it better than a lot of people in the world. That's the reason why the world looks at us with disgust, because right now it seems we just don't have enough. We want more. And that leaves a distaste in other people's lives. You know, that leaves a distaste in people's lives. When you're all about take, you end up having nobody in your life, you know? And I love the people in my life. I try to honor them as much as I possibly can, you know? And some of you, I haven't done enough for you. Some of you that are in here know who I'm talking about. You know, I could do more. Come visit. If I could get money, I you know, do that. Actually put my money where my mouth is and come visit, you know? But I'm trying, and I apologize for failing. And I just ask that, you know, if you feel like I'm failing and that I could be doing something else, would you please just tell me, you know? Because I'm a guy. Sometimes I'm totally oblivious. I won't realize until I'm told, you know? I know not everyone donates to receive something in return. But I don't want to be, you know, it's funny because I had a friend of mine who, there's someone that I'm going to have to call after this. Thank you. I just saw that. I just, when I was in therapy, I had a friend of mine who actually was all distraught worrying whether or not he was a good person. And I told him something about, I told him a time in therapy I've been in therapy for 25, 30 years now. And but at one point in time, I was going on and on, and I was really worried because I was afraid that I was like narcissistic. And I talked a lot about it in therapy. And finally, my therapist looked at me and told me, dude, you know how I know that you are really not all that narcissistic? And I asked her, how? And she said, narcissistic people don't worry whether or not they're narcissistic. They they just are so caught up with themselves, they don't even give it a second thought. They don't care. And at the time, I thought it was funny. But my friend, who was worrying about being a good person and whether or not he was a good enough person and all of this stuff, I told him, dude, you know how I know that you're a good person? And he asked me how. And I said, shitty people don't worry whether or not they're good people. They just excel at being shitty. It's the people who worry whether or not they're good people that actually are good people. You know, I'm a big fan, Sherilyn, of therapy. Being able to talk solely about yourself to a professional who can help you analyze yourself. But then Jesus Christ himself told us the most important thing that we needed to do in this life is know ourselves. You have to know yourself. Because otherwise, if you don't know yourself and you're busy running away, then it controls you. And you don't even realize that it's controlling you, you know? And so I just, with that said, I'm going to pray. If that's, you know, I'm going to pray. I always say to new moms who worry, bad moms don't ask if they're good moms. They don't worry if they are, right? They can fucking do meth, lose their kids, and still do meth and not give a fuck about their kids. That's what I'm kind of surrounded by. You know, they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit. It's those who worry about it that are concerned because you're giving intent. You know, when you're worried that you're not doing enough or you're not being a good enough person, it inspires you to do more and be a good person. You know, not saying that you should worry about it, but if that's in your thought processes, it's really hard to want to be a good person and then do shitty shit, you know? And the same shitty shit, Jesus Christ said that the one muscle that gets most people into the dark, into hell, is their tongue. Stop talking shit about people. Stop saying terrible shit about people. Saying the truth is one thing. But if you're saying the truth, you should be saying it to the person, not about the person to everyone else. You know? Stop when you say and do icky, stupid, evil shit to people, you know you're doing and saying stupid, evil shit to people. You know. Whether or not you admit it or accept it, two totally different things. But we all know when we're doing shitty stuff. If you have to hide it, chances are, you know, when you don't want to talk about it, when you want to deny it, when you want to tell everyone it's not happening, even though they're telling you it is, chances are you're on the wrong path. But with that said, I want to pray because I'm kind of tired of this and I want to get off of here. Not that I haven't appreciated all of this. You know, now this last part, that's why I've stayed on here. The first hour kind of sucked. But now the last 44 minutes, now that I'm now being inundated with stupid shit, you know? Right. I find that the evil people that you do, bless them, but get the fuck away from them. You know, don't expose yourself to them because you know they're just going to hurt you again. You know, when does love become self-abuse? You know, you have to, loving others doesn't mean you need to let them abuse you. And loving others and forgiving them doesn't have anything to do with them because most of the time they don't give a shit about your forgiveness. Your forgiveness of them is allowing you to walk from them. So what you do is you forgive them, you bless them, and you get the fuck away from them as far away as you can so they can't do any shit to you anymore. You know? And that's, I hid all the candy in the basement and eat it with the kids. I'm not a big candy eater, but that just sounds sensible to me. If you think your kids are going to eat all your candy and you want candy, Saki, if that was your biggest problem, you're so busy building fires and making hot chocolate and just making sure everyone's comfortable and blah, 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 blah. You're entitled to hide a little candy. I'm sorry, but that's how I feel. You know, you can hide candy. You don't have to give. Sometimes I let my dogs outside and then I'll go eat so I don't have to share it. It's the same thing. And do I feel bad about it? Yeah, every once in a while. You know, I don't do nose candy. Just never understood. Did cocaine once when I was driving this stripper around, and I was so stressed out about how men treated women. And she was a coke addict, and she was my boss. So she said, "Oh, just do this line of coke." I didn't understand. I just don't understand the allure of coke. She had me do a couple lines. I felt kind of buzzed for like a minute and a half, and then I felt like I was going to have a fucking heart attack for 8 hours. What is the allure in that? I just don't understand it. I'm much more a roll a joint or load a bowl or smoke a blunt and sit back. But then I guess that I have post-traumatic stress disorder, so I have a problem with anxiety and adrenaline anyway. So I've never liked stimulants. When I was in college, someone gave me White Crosses because they wanted me to stay up all night with them and study. So I did 2 White Crosses, these little tiny white pills, and they called them White Crosses because there was like a cross in the middle of it. Oh my God, it was the worst night. Yeah, I was up. Fuck, I was sick. It was awful. It was awful. If I'm going to do caffeine, coffee or tea, that's it. I'm just never understood drugs. Never understood hard drugs. It took a man with a criminal past who came into my life and told me people are constantly plotting and scheming against you. When I told the handler, her rages began, so I knew it was true. The whole thing about it is there are people out there who plot and scheme against anybody. Let me remind everybody of a little story. It's the story of the scorpion and the frog. The scorpion wanted to cross the river, but obviously couldn't. So it asked the frog, "Will you let me ride on your back and you can swim me to the other side?" And the frog said, "Of course not. You'll sting me and I'll die." And the scorpion said, "No, no, no. If I sting you, if you swim, take me there, we'll both drown. We'll both die. Why would I do that?" So the frog let the scorpion on its back, trying to be a decent person, being a decent frog. Halfway across the river, the scorpion stung the frog. And as the frog was starting to get paralyzed and dying, the frog said, "Why would you do that? Now we're both going to drown." And the scorpion simply replied, "Because it's my nature." Being a shitty, nasty, fucking individual like the Dead Isaac Cappy Club are, it's their nature. They know no other way. And that's true for a lot of people. For it not to be your nature, you have to make that decision sometimes constantly, because in the end, even the best of us will fail. It has to be a conscious choice. Oh yeah. But Amy, you're like me. When you're a targeted individual, they deliberately send those assholes to you, you know? So then you have to start questioning everybody and everything. It's hard not to be paranoid when there's an army of people working against you, you know? And they're all working as a group against you. But I will tell you, there has to come a point when you have to have faith and realize not everybody sucks. You know, yes, there are a lot of bad people out there, but not everybody sucks. That's the thing with the FBI. Do I trust the FBI? Not at all. Not fucking at all. But not everybody in the FBI can be bad. You know, perfect. Just one microcosm of everything else, you know? Right. It is my nature to be very trusting. That's part of being a survivor, you know? And unfortunately, we gravitate to what we know, and what we know sucks, you know? But we're so busy trying to get the nasty motherfucker's approval because we never got it as a kid. So as an adult, we keep, and it's no more available to you as an adult than it was available to us as children, you know? The problem that I have with Catholics confessing their sins is that they think it wipes the slate clean. So then they can just go sin all over again until they get confessional, they go to a confessional and get absolved again. But my question is, okay, you go to a Catholic confessional, the priest absolves you of all of your sins, wipes away all of your sins. Then he goes and fucks a kid. Does your absolution still work? Are you able to be absolved of your sins by a fucking pedophile? Does it still work? Is there a caveat to it? How does it weigh out? You know? So you go commit all you crime, your sins, then you get absolved by a priest who listens to your shit, and then they go fuck a kid. Does the absolution still work? Because what I would say is fuck no. That would be my reply, you know? But talking about our sins, the whole thing about it is that we lead by example. And so we will fail. So when you fail, you are leading by example by admitting that you failed and then doing better. That's how it's supposed to work, you know? The Dead Isaac Cappy Club. Isaac Cappy was an individual who was trying to expose the Hollywood pedophile connection and ended up dead. And if you want to know who the Dead Isaac Cappy Club is, go to my blog, davidshurter.com. David Shurter. Just .com after that. There's a lot of good information on there. You know? No, not going to play. I'm going to actually pray and get off of here because I've almost been on here for 2 hours. Heaven, we come to you as your children. Please let our prayers and my words today be heard by those who need to hear it, that we are to fill our hearts with love, that we've been commanded, and I just open people's hearts and minds to know that they're able to do it. They are. You just need to believe in the love in your heart. You need to believe in yourselves. We all need to believe in ourselves and realize that we can rise to the occasion. We can be the change that we wish to see in the world. We are so grateful that you sent our brother, your son, Jesus Christ, to lead by living the word, to inspire us to do the same and live the word. And the word is love. Love God, love everyone else. If we're doing that, we're on the right path. If we're not doing that, we're not. Guide us. Keep us strong. Know that even in our lowest moments, let us know that what we're doing, the choice that we've made, is worth it. And I say that not just for myself, but for everyone. But I also say that for myself. I need to be reminded, as we all do. And we say these things gratefully and lovingly and with all of our hearts in the depths of our soul, in your Son, our brother's name, Jesus Christ. Amen. And so that's the prayer that I have. I'll stay on here for another 5 minutes, but 2 hours is about as much as I want to go. Nobody listens to these if they're super, super long, you know? I like to keep them an hour, but the first hour was awful. This last hour has been pretty good, you know? I thank you guys. I thank you. Thank you for all your help. My producer reminded me last time that I forgot my blog, davidshurter.com, just my name.com. Lots of information there. And if there are names that you are interested in that I have written about, just type them in the search bar in the right. Go down, go to the search bar. Stuff will come up, I assure you. For those of you who can, my book is $30. I take donations as well, but I know that people don't want to give and not get something in return a lot of times. I understand that. I'm also working on bags, but they're taking me a while because I'm so busy with this, and it's been difficult with all of the stuff that I've been having to fight. It's just been, and because there's a bunch of stress that goes with it too. There's just a ton of stress. They know I have PTSD, so they do everything they can to trigger the absolute shit out of me, you know? But davidshurter.com, and I got nominated for Book of the Year. This is PayPal and Venmo. It's just my name, my first initial D, my last name Shurter, you know? And for those of you who can't, don't feel bad, you know? But if you can't donate to me, go smile at someone today. Go be friendly, you know? The unredacted version is better, but it's free. For all caveats, Saki is keeping me honest. You can go read the extended version on my blog up above for free. The unedited version of Rabbit Hole, you know? But you won't get a signed hard copy. You know, so bait. And if you read this one, then go back and read the other one, because there's a lot of information that got taken out, especially the spiritual stuff, you know, especially the spiritual stuff. But thank you, everyone. And there's one of you that I'm probably going to reach out to right after this, just because I want to get your take. My producer is in here, the one eventually that I'm going to get to help me do stuff, because I think that there's a collection of us that are getting together to actually try and do what we can to inspire the world around us. And I think heaven's bringing all of us together. I think those of you, Amy, you know, I think that there's a bunch of us who know that we have an obligation, that we're here for a reason. And if you're here listening to me, chances are you're here on behalf of heaven. And you just need to trust, look inside of yourself, look inside of your heart, and trust yourself to realize heaven will reveal what you need to do to you, what you need to do. And it usually comes in stages. And I'm just telling you, in my personal experience, most of the time it'll be outside your comfort level. I'm always getting told to do stuff that I don't want to do. Opening comments and talking about Isaac Cappy, perfect example. When I was told that, there was nothing I wanted to do less, you know? But a little over a year now that I did it, I can't tell you how happy I am that I did do it. I just can't tell you how happy I am. It ended up working out for the absolute best in ways that I never could have foreseen when I was told to do it. That's how heaven works. It reveals itself to you in its own time. Just trust and have faith in the word, in heaven, and yourself, that you are capable and able to rise to the occasion. Go be an inspiration to someone today. Make someone feel better than what they would have had they not come across you in their lives today. And with that said, fill your hearts with love. And thank you. Thanks.